You're just gonna do. Okay. Got the warm-up exercise. Welcome
Yeah.
back to this.
Forgive me,
So-
Father, for I have sinned. It has been 1 month since my last confession.
Tell me, what have you confess?
We didn't do a response for a month.
This is a we thing now. I thought I'm the father. You're confessing to me. This is don't put this on me. That's not how this works. There's a reason that we're separated in booths here. The sin does not.
So I
spill
can't
over
see you
onto me.
masturbating while I talk about all the stank shit I've done.
Hey man, it's fucking walls. Walls
Hey
up.
man, I've got to get it somewhere. So, yeah, we're scheduling for the things that we really wanted to do became so nightmarish that we have decided to continue doing responses over the internet in an effort to get more of them done. And even though we couldn't get people to have the Game of the Decade mega debate, we've decided to pick off some really low-hanging fruit and respond to Polygon's top 50 games of the decade in 7 words or less. Probably less.
Time to lose all the subscribers we have.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they made fun of Polygon. Unsubscribed.
Low effort content. Away. I mean, we're low effort content, or maybe Polygon is.
Have we ever made
interpret
high
that joke
effort
at your will.
content? I'm trying for the first time to make a high effort content, and it's not done yet.
Hey man, I already made my high effort content. I worked on an animation.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I'm already working on a second one.
Are you really? Cool.
Yeah.
Do you just plug yourself?
Fuck you. I'm here now. You
Yeah,
invited me here.
I know.
I live here now.
Good shit.
All right.
Okay.
So,
I don't remember how I found this video. I didn't watch it, obviously, but I remember them saying that it's not actually the top 50 games, it's the top 50 most influential or something like that. But now that I'm looking at the title here, I don't think that really has anything to do with it.
it says
but-
top 50 games of the decade, so
Yeah,
we'll see what
alright.
they...
I had this
What
whole
they
spiel
say.
about like whether we should include allow games to be on this list based on if they're influential for the wrong reasons. Like Skyrim is going to be on this list because of course it is. And I think that Skyrim was the real beginning of Bethesda's trend of streamlining their RPGs and making them more and more and more into action games.
Let's just leave that for the video,
Okay.
because I'm sure we'll get to it very quickly.
Yeah.
So the last thing I guess I'll say is that yes, this is super low hanging fruit. But after we did a multi-part 12-hour thing on DMC, we're gonna take one easy one where we can just sit and laugh at something.
Well, I mean, to be completely honest, the Devil May Cry 5 response was also not our discussion about Devil May Cry 5 was fairly involved, but it really didn't take a whole lot of effort on our part to debunk his points because they were so outrageous and and not particularly, they were very vague, very harsh, and kind of outrageous. So there really wasn't anything we needed to do rather than say, yeah, I don't think that's right. The specifics for us came from our discussion of what we thought should have been said.
Yeah, I mean that's the point. That's gonna be the point of this format. Is just any video we watch is just a vehicle for which to start a discussion.
Yeah, we're starting important
About
conversations here on Response, and that's really what's
very
important.
conversations.
Also, I really like the getup that this guy on the left has got. Like, if that would be the elephant in the room, and I don't want to make fun of this dude, but I feel like we have to mention it.
I'm not gonna make fun of it because I don't know if I mentioned I've begun watching wrestling a bit more, and there is a guy that's a wrestler that looks exactly like that guy, and he's hilarious because he only
Okay.
talks in rhymes. So if this man doesn't rhyme once, I'll be very disappointed.
I don't know. I just you know, he's dressing a bit ridiculous. He's got the mustache. You know,
I'll say this.
It's a theatrical look.
If he was standing there in like a normal pose, like the girl on the right, I would have been disappointed. But the fact that he's like chest out, arms are splayed, I'm like, I'm in it.
It's
show me what you got.
Yeah, it's theatrical.
Guy.
But you know, most like video game journalists and internet personalities I found are starting to all kind of look like Cowboy Curtis from Pee-wee's Playhouse, with the colored hair and the weird shit and whatever. It's Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus before Morpheus.
Okay,
he's cool. I love Cowboy Curtis, and I think that people dressing like Cowboy Curtis is cool. I just couldn't let it go unmentioned. Man, that's a weird look you've got going on.
Let's start the video game discussion now.
Okay, right.
This is probably gonna be rapid fire, so let's go.
Top 50 games of the decade in 7 words or less.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
5, Skyrim. No escape from Todd's cold world.
Sea of Thieves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, even in a top 50,
You kind of have to put.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Before we begin, I have to do this. To open my beer. Sorry, I forgot to do it. This is a brew from Wisconsin. It's a Spotted Cow. It's a New Glarus. It's very good. It's an IPA. So, I guess what we're really going to be doing is comparing Skyrim to the other games on this list. I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's fair to have Skyrim be there because it's the only Elder Scrolls game besides the MMO that's in this decade. So you're like, you know what? Okay, I guess it gets an honorable mention at best. Or at worst.
But we're talking about best games of the decade, and like, you kind of then have to compare Skyrim to what it was, like how it evolved from the games that came before it. And I think of the three, we'll go with three in the Creation Engine 3D Elder Scrolls RPGs. Like, we won't talk about Daggerfall. I think Skyrim is easily the weakest of the three.
Well, the point though is in that one is that it's the only one in this decade.
I know. We'll see about the rest of these games, but I don't want to just let Skyrim pass without talking about how bad it is compared to Oblivion and especially Morrowind.
Yes, I'm very well aware of it. I've played quite a bit of both Oblivion and Skyrim, and I don't like Skyrim very much.
Okay, so yeah, Skyrim is like a phenomenon, like Minecraft level phenomenon, but special commendations to the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind on this top 50 games of the decade list. Although I don't know, this can't turn into a Skyrim discussion, but I think
I'm sure we'll have time to do one at some point.
Yeah, Skyrim had, I think Oblivion had the weakest like main antagonist because Mehrunes Dagon didn't actually have lines, but Alduin is equally uninteresting. But then Dagoth is so fucking interesting and intelligent and well-spoken. You have a huge whole conversation with him, and which was fully voice-acted, which back in the OG Xbox, like RPG era, well, not really OG Xbox, back in the OG RPG era, it was unheard of.
All I'll say about Oblivion compared to Skyrim in terms of Alduin versus who's the fucking hell? What's the name of the guy in Oblivion? Mehrunes Dagon, is that you weren't even like in Oblivion. You're not even against Mehrunes Dagon. You're just the guy helping out the guy against Mehrunes Dagon. So like not having much interaction with him too much isn't even that bad.
Yeah, that's true.
With Alduin, you're literally the Dragonborn. You're both in the bane of each other's existence. And when you kill him, you're just like, oh, okay. Cool. I was a dragon, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Like, the very fact that Mehrunes Dagon is attempting to come here is apocalyptic. Like, if he makes it to a, like, Cyrodiil, it's over. Like, you don't fight Mehrunes Dagon. He's a fucking Prince of Oblivion.
Well, Alduin, like all the lore says, he's gonna eat the entire world.
Yeah, but then you beat him up and take his lunch money.
You could oh my god, you could probably summon like 2 bears and they'd probably be able to kill Alduin.
And I guess I just want to mention Dagoth a little bit.
Okay. We should probably not stick too much.
I know, but he's so interesting.
God. Your game not even from 2 decades ago. Yes, what are you gonna say?
Well, I mean, you remember, like, there's the, like, unknowable apocalyptic threat of Dagon. God damn it, Mehrunes Dagon. The, like, weird, uninteresting general evil of Alduin. And then, like, the strange, sporting, introspective evil of Dagoth-Ur. Where you talk to him before the battle begins. And he says, like, you know, I really was going to give you, like, the villain spiel of, like, join me, and together we can rule. But no, I won this by right of conquest. It is mine and mine alone. But I have to ask, if I had offered to, like, for you to join me, would you have taken it? And you can say whatever you want, but most people say, no, I wouldn't have taken it. He goes, you know, thank you for your honesty. You've been very sporting, and I allow you the first hit. And then you attack him, and then he fucking destroys you, because he's a god, and you're not ready. Yeah, there's none of that shit in Skyrim. So, like, and I think that there are other games in this decade that are better than Skyrim, because Skyrim is lesser than the things that came before it. That's all I really want to say. We'll see what happens on this list. I'm noticing that 59 here is Sea of Thieves, which is a whole kettle of worms.
Let's see what they have to say about it, but yeah, I don't.
Buckling skeletons and sloops, oh my.
No man's.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that one. Like,
okay,
I mean, Sea of Thieves was fun, but top 50 games, like, I haven't played it in a while, but like on release, like, it was fun, but it has like 2 things you can do.
Yeah, so Skyrim is like buggy and glitchy and nightmarish at times and uninteresting. But
it's still a big game with a lot of things to
do. That you can do, yeah. This is just weird, but do you think you could try to pause it before the next game comes up?
I will do. I'll do better.
Cool.
Just keep in mind that
if we pause too much, we can desync.
No, we're going to be desynced no matter what. But yes.
Okay. Yeah, I remember really trying to get into Sea of Thieves at launch because I generally don't play like large multiplayer games, and that felt like one that I could get into, and that would give me like a reason to play with the boys, you know, to interact with you guys. Mm-hmm. But it was just so boring.
Honestly, like for me on launch, like even though there wasn't much to do, it was still a very good base, and it was really fun. But yeah, it was very little to do. I hear that there's been a lot of updates since then that have made it pretty fun, but it's still, all I can say is at launch it was not really.
I will say about the game that it definitely got what it needed to get, which was sailing and navigating the ocean.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
I remember
knocked it out of the park there.
Yeah, I remember the arguments that we had when I accidentally ran us aground and shit. We'd be like, "Arr, fuck, we're taking on water."
And then the Kraken, fucking bitch.
Yeah, took all of our chests, and after I realized that you can lose everything at the drop of a hat, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Oh, man.
All right, well, next, I suppose.
Ooh, number 48.
Sky. Comeback Player of the Decade Award.
So, No Man's Sky.
I haven't played it since then, so I can't comment on the comeback decade. I've heard that it's really quite good now. If not, has a lot more features and is fleshed out more.
That's good to know. I will say, however, that it is one of the only video games in my entire life that I have successfully refunded.
Oh, you funded this game?
Refunded.
Oh.
I bought it and then played it for about 3 hours and went, no. I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, a lot of the issue, a lot like.
That's because I bought it at launch, because there were, it took like only 3 or 4 hours after it launched for people to go, what is this? No! But, I bought it when it came out. I was excited because it felt like an event, of like a game that could possibly like be a technical revolution. We thought we were going to get something special here.
I mean, I don't mean to be an asshole, but at least for me, like, I never really believed much in No Man's Sky. I've played enough of randomly generated games to know that they rarely ever have the depth that they advertise. Although No Man's Sky was far worse than I thought it was going to be, but I was not holding my breath for it.
Well, yeah, I know that, and I've been advertised to. I've been straight up lied to. I played fucking Fable. All right.
Well, the first one was good.
Peter Molyneux.
You mean Fable 3?
No, I mean Fable in general. Peter Molyneux saying that there are going to be trees that grow in real time in Fable 1. Fuck you. Yeah, Peter Molyneux is the absolute king of promising and under-delivering. So I'm like, even if it's not like the technical revolution that people are thinking it's going to be, I at least think that there's going to be an interesting and fun, unique experience here, and it was none of those things. I thought it was going to be at least some of those things, and I was hype, but it was literally none of those things.
Yeah. But at least in terms of it deserves the spot, I don't know, because I have not played it since it's been updated. So we'll chalk that one up to I don't know.
I mean, although we have to say that, like, 2 places higher than Skyrim for all of its faults, really?
I don't think this is supposed to be a countdown.
Top 50. We'll see.
We'll see. I guess I interpreted this as it's the 50 in the top, not like a countdown. But we'll see. It'll probably depend on what the 50th spot is. I mean, the number 1 spot is. Continuing on.
Dota 2 Auto Chess. It's wizard's chess for muggles.
Okay. Mac
I have no idea.
Swears by this. He swears by auto chess. I don't actually even really know what that is, and my retarded lizard brain barely comprehends normal chess.
I literally didn't know auto chess was a thing until like probably a few months ago when someone mentioned it. I googled it and I had to read a bunch of shit to figure out what the fuck it was.
Okay, so this is I'm gonna tell a.
First off, it basically has nothing to do with chess.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell a interesting story. So, in my high school years, I was a member of a mentoring group. Eye to Eye, it's called, where I would go every couple of weeks on like a Monday afternoon. I would spend a few hours with kids as like a mentor. Other people would go in and they'd like help them with their homework or, just spend time with them to be like a kind of a role model, to just set an example. But for me, how I performed in high school, it was like, I was like the drug addict that you would hire to come and talk to your kids. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Don't be like me. You don't want to be like old Uncle Austin. I got kicked off the ultimate frisbee team because my grades were too low. So, I got this little Asian kid, and we would play chess, and he would just destroy me every single time. So, like, I was just a self-esteem boost to whoever would get me. And so, I would usually, like, I would get to the room with the kids, and this kid, the little Asian dude, like 8 years old, would just bring a chessboard and be like, it's time, take your medicine. So whenever I don't even really know what auto chess is, but I see the word chess and I go, Ree! I'm like the fucking bride from Kill Bill. I see the word chess and I go, Nah, he was a good kid.
For me, I always liked chess. I played a lot of chess as a kid.
We should play chess.
I'll beat the fuck out of you.
I know. If you're ever feeling down and you want to feel better than somebody, play me in chess.
But okay, I guess that's all we have to say about auto chess. Normal chess is pretty good.
I mean, this is a slightly mobile game-ish spin-off of a rip-off of a game I don't like. Dota 2 is a MOBA, which is a League of Legends clone, and this is a mobile game-type spin-off of that. So, like, if we actually talk about this game, even, like, despite not really knowing what it is, everything that I say will be so fucking venomous. So I decided to talk about my interactions with the Chess King of fucking Gondolin.
And with that said, we'll go with the next one.
Yeah.
Give it here, Malfoy, or I'll knock you off your broom. That's my Harry Potter impression.
Fallout
God.
New Vegas. War never changes, but developers do.
Okay.
I guess I'm glad it wasn't Fallout 4, although Fallout 4 might be on the list still. But Fallout New Vegas is very good, and it deserves this spot.
Fallout New Vegas is Obsidian. Obsidian definitely felt more Fallout than Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 did. Because Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 were very main story heavy, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah. Even though I'm a weirdo, I still prefer Fallout 3. Fallout New Vegas is still great.
God, how do I want to go into this? Fallout New Vegas. So, for me, in the Fallout universe, the most important character in the series is the wasteland itself. And so every, like, incidental bit of dialogue and character that you come across is just another opportunity to get more characterization for the world that you live in. Because I think the Fallout universe is, in and of itself, one of my favorite and more engaging, like, worlds that characters and NPCs can live in.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be the appeal, I think, for a lot of people, just because the aesthetic is so very interesting.
I mean, it's
and
like...
then the world from there only builds off that.
So, like, when Fallout 3... Like, Bethesda has been, like, casually, like, dropping huge lore bombs for a while. Like, in Fallout 3, you technically discover a cure for the forced evolutionary virus.
Where the fuck is that? I don't remember that.
Well, it's not a cure. It's a weaponized, like, strain of a disease that kills off super mutants and people who are... President Eden gives you, and I'm like, hold on, this changes fucking everything. Like, we introduce this, like, yeah, some innocent people are going to die, but this gives humanity a fucking chance to, like, genuinely repopulate and start rebuilding shit. Because the main antagonist of the Fallout games is the Master and the Super Mutants. You solve that problem and humanity can win again.
Well, it's honestly not that important because...
It
Fallout 3
fucking is!
Well, what's it, dude? It doesn't fucking give it a few hundred, like 100 years, one generation, or if that's more than a few.
It's been 200 years since the bombs dropped.
No, I mean in terms of super mutants, because they can't procreate. They're just gonna go away anyway.
The Master dunks people into vats of goo and makes super mutants.
Yeah, well, the Master's dead now.
But there's fucking thousands of them. Anyway, so, like, it's that kind of, like, lore that I think makes Fallout so interesting. And I think Fallout New Vegas is, I think, really the only 3D Fallout game that really has, like, characters that are interesting in that way.
New Vegas is the only one that definitely prioritizes the world and the geopolitics of Fallout over just presenting a Mad Max wasteland. While I prefer Fallout 3, New Vegas actually kind of goes like, all right, so if this actually happened, how would the geopolitics kind of revolve around it? And so you have all these weird factions that pop up that are all exceedingly interesting, and then the interactions between them.
Actually,
it makes it feel more like a world that you're just kind of like being plopped in, because you're just like, okay, I'm just a carrier. I got my head shot in, so I just want revenge, and then all of a sudden it's just fucking you're in the middle of a cold war between like 3 different factions.
actually, this is an interesting problem, or this is an interesting point, because I think Obsidian dropped the ball in that regard with the Outer Worlds. I don't really know too much about the fucking colony, the Halcyon colony. I don't really know as much about that world as I thought I did. I tried having long, extensive conversations with my followers trying to learn shit, but, like, all they would talk about are themselves. The only person is, the Vicar. Vicar Max. He would give me a huge dissertation about his religion, the origins of his religion, how it works. I loved that. But I always wanted to talk to Parvati about, like, my ship. How does it work? What eccentricities does it have? Or, like, hey, Parvati, what's going on? What's busted in my ship today? She's like, oh, well, we have no radiation shielding, but, this model doesn't really have that to save on cost, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, they focus more on character story, although the Outer Worlds are still great. But yeah, I can see if you wanted more of a world building, it's not as there as much as
I guess I'm always holding it to the gold standard. Like, my favorite character is a character from Fallout 2. Oh, I'm gonna kill myself for not remembering his name. It's like Jeff or Corbin or something, and he was a really brash, conceited but very brilliant scientist who was working for a crime family in the desert. And he is the inventor of Jet. And you can have this, like, 20 minute, like, 25 minute plus conversation with him about what Jet is and how he figured out how to make it. He tried cultivating, like, mushrooms and peyote to get people high and, like, hallucinogenics. And he's like, yeah, but that didn't really work. The atmosphere out here isn't really conducive to growing those kinds of vegetables anymore, or veggies, he calls them. And then he tried, like, synthesizing amphetamines, and he's like, it didn't really work out. It wasn't as powerful as I want it to be. And then he tried growing things in fertilizer using Brahmin dung. And he found out that people were getting high off of the fumes of the Brahmin manure. And he discovered that way back before the bombs dropped, a little bit before, a huge beef company attempted to create this insane protein that would increase like cow muscle size and density, and like by like a tenfold, and like make them super huge, meaty, swole cows. And it didn't work out. And to save on cost, they, like, I think thought they neutralized it and then introduced it into their food supply in order to cut it. And so, like, 90% of all of the Brahmin and cows in the Fallout world in the United States have this protein inside of them, and it's hereditary. And when it breaks down and comes into contact with human skin, or in contact with humans, it has like a huge, insane amphetamine effect on them. And so what he decided to do was just put Brahmin shit into these fucking aerosol sprays. And, like, after 20 minutes, you're like, wait, Jet's poop? He's like, yeah.
Amazing.
Like, 20 minutes of him. And the voice acting in Fallout 2 is fucking amazing. I urge you to look up, like, Fallout 2 inventor of Jet. I love this dude.
Mm.
And so, like, every time you take Jet in the entire Fallout series, you're huffing shit. And then, except for Fallout 4, which retconned it, because there's a crafting system, and you can make Jet with any random chemicals, which is bullshit, Todd! Read the lore.
That's just fan shit.
I know. So I think like special commendation to Fallout New Vegas, which doesn't have. I don't think in Fallout New Vegas I had like a 20-minute discussion that could have ended at any time if I wanted it to, but I just wanted to keep going because it was so fascinating. A couple of the DLCs had like interesting people. But I think of the 3D ones, I think Fallout New Vegas is easily the best in that way. And that's how I really decide whether or not I like a Fallout game.
Okay, that's fair.
So that was like a 5-minute discussion on, yeah, I like this one. That's a good number.
All right, next one.
FIFA 17. Imagine Rocket League, but no cars.
Thumper.
Okay, so
Fair enough.
do we like sports games? No.
Yeah, they deserve to exist.
But
I don't like
they are also some of the best-selling video games of all time. And like I'm talking about like modern sports games. Like NBA Street is fucking awesome. Like there are good sports games. Every now and again there's a sports game that's like transcending genre because it's so good. Like Backyard Baseball or NBA Street or I guess Rocket League. But I'm talking about like the high numbers like FIFA 17, 18, 19, like the carbon copy video games that now have like microtransaction and like character packs in them because EA and the other big companies have paid multiple $billion to get monopolies on the licenses to have like FIFA and NBA and NFL licensed products. Like, even though these games sell so well, they feel that they need to add extra monetization into these games to justify the insane cost that they spent to to get just the licenses. Oh, man. They're not fun anymore. They're basically fantasy football simulations. You don't want to play the games anymore. You just want to, make sure your team wins for your fantasy league. Play NFL Blitz. NFL Blitz is amazing. NFL Blitz 2000 is the best football game ever made. All right?
I was going to say, in terms of...
Super Mario Strikers is even fucking good, all right? There are good sports games out there, but FIFA 2017, fuck you.
I can't say I haven't played it. All I know is, there's some pretty bad monetization, and they keep rehashing the game multiple times. But in terms of what the game is, I don't know. But you can probably draw FIFA 17 back and forth about probably 5 years, and there's probably not much more to the game.
Fucking what the difference is the names of the players on the teams.
Probably only minorly.
Yep.
Next.
Cyber Devil Rhythm Hell.
Okay, so Thumper.
I've played it once. It was fun.
Thumper is a totally solid rhythm game. I don't think it's better than other rhythm games. When it comes to games of the decade, like, if a Thumper or rhythm game is on this list, you gotta have Beat Saber.
I was gonna say, like, if Beat Saber's on here, and rhythm and the Thumper is, that's gonna be a little weird.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
That's like having DJ Hero on the list and not Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero 3, by the way. Fucking amazing. Mac and I still play Guitar Hero 2, actually.
I still have Guitar Hero 2 for the PS2 somewhere.
Yeah. Come on over. We'll fucking play through the Fire and the Flames and lose.
And cry.
Yeah, you drink 2 beers and then you think you can play on Expert, and then you don't, and then you can't.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Sort. All right.
Cyber Devil Rhythm Hell. Cyber Devil Rhythm Hell. Cyber Devil Rhythm Hell. Cyber Devil.
Super hot. John Wick in a China shop.
The work?
Okay.
That's a pretty accurate description. Super hot. It's fun. It's the demo that was put out originally was really quite good, and then the game came out, and I still enjoy it, but it did get a little up its own ass. and instead of letting you enjoy the game with an interesting mechanic that it invented, it's kind of made you go, hey, look at the storyline we made. And I'm like, I just want to play your game, please.
Okay, well, it's a game that lives off of its gimmick, which is fine. It's a fun gimmick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a very fun gimmick.
But at the same time, like, how many levels of just that in a row can you go before you, like, get bored? Introducing a story into it, even if it's a weird, lackluster story, is probably a good way to go. At least to keep the attention of someone like me.
Opposite of that would honestly should be interesting level design.
Yeah, okay. You got me on that one.
Level design over the story that forces you to just watch things happen when you're like, I just want to play the game.
Oh, really? Does it do that?
Yes.
Because I've played like 10 levels of Super Hot total. I loved every second of it, but I haven't really played a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's great. Super Hot's good. Like every time it gets a new release, I'm like, good for you. Coming to console, good for you. VR version, yeah, sure, all right. I don't know how that works, but good for you.
Actually, I do kind of want to play the VR version. That sounds kind of fun. Moving on.
Of Michael Brow. Shareware is art.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so I don't know who that is, but shareware is also very good. I miss the days of shareware, and I was only around for like 2 years of them. Like, I am a 90s kid in the loosest, like, most, like, barely. But I had but by the time that my family got a PC, like, I could run, like, anything. Like, the first couple of levels of Doom, yep, free. First couple of levels of Rise of the Triad, yep, free. First couple of levels of fucking anything, really. Because, like, shareware was basically just long demos. You get to the end of it and you're like, hey, buy the game, would you? And you're like, oh, yeah, maybe. Demos are good. Demos sell games. The demo of Dragon Quest XI on the Switch is probably one of the reasons that the Switch version sold like hotcakes that, like, give you blowjobs. Like, mechanized blowjob pancake robots did not sell as well as Dragon Quest XI. Alright? If you want people to play your game, let them fucking try it.
NBA 2K12. Actually, basketball peaked in 2K12.
All right, we're just gonna say refer back to FIFA 17.
Yeah, see previous sports rant.
2012.
Celeste, berries, and therapies.
I haven't played Celeste, but it looks fucking great.
Celeste is, like, kind of a bit... Like, it's a slightly pretentious story. It's not too bad. But with incredibly tight Super Meat Boy tight fucking platforming controls that make up for it.
Everything I've seen of it, it looks really fun to play.
Yeah. It's also a game...
In terms of puzzles I've seen, I think it probably deserves the top 50, because it's pretty, like, there's some things that I've... some gameplay elements I've seen that seem to be... Yes. I don't know if it's new, but they're fucking cool.
It also has a very good difficulty curve.
I've heard that too as well, yeah.
Like, it has low entry, but by the end of the game, like, hair-pullingly, frustratingly difficult, with optional, like, end-game challenges that basically test your mettle. Love it. But, like, if people say that it's, like, an incredible, thought-provoking story, you're like, yeah, I get it. No, not really. It's fine.
Did you think there were aliens, dipshit?
God of War.
Okay.
I haven't played Firewatch.
Firewatch. So it's got a fairly lackluster, not like it doesn't have the impact. It's very Celeste-y. Mm-hmm. It is a story who thinks it's a lot smarter than it is. But it also is propped up by an interesting concept and a good mystery. Like, the overall parts of the game that where you're trying to figure out what's going on and the fact that you're alone doing it are very interesting. It's the payoff is it's okay. It's good, I guess.
I got nothing to say. I haven't played it. I've been meaning to play it, but moving on.
The developer is a bit strange, but that doesn't really mean that his or her art will benefit or suffer because of that.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
Firewatch is it's okay. Like, I don't think it deserves to be in the 50 top games of the fucking decade. Like, Polygon would put it in the top 50, but it's not that good. Trust me.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Next.
War 2018. Datification complete.
Kratos, the original wife guy.
So God of War 3 Remastered also came out this decade, and it is an infinitely better game.
Count.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does not count. You can't
It totally does.
No, it doesn't.
No, come on!
It's not the original release date of the game.
Let me have this.
Nope.
Fine. Okay, God of War 2018 is an...
I'm gonna put it on this list just because Christopher Judge is in it.
Okay, so...
My boy needs work.
He can't... Like, all that Teal'c money's starting to dry up, and I don't think there's another fucking Def Jam game coming in a bit. So you gotta put him in something. It's not like you can fucking collect royalties on B&D Mob. So... The combat in God of War 4 is worse than God of War 3. It just is.
Most people will not debate that fact.
It doesn't have the depth or complexity, which is strange, because God of War 3 does not allow you to hot swap weapons, but God of War 4 does. It's just that the weapon combos are, frankly, non-existent. And I thought, when I first found out that you could, like, throw the axe and that immediately gets you into the punches, I was, like, super hype. But then I found out that that's kind of all it is. The game, like, God of War 3 had, like, a fun, ultra-violent story, but it was a video game first. God of War is a really, really good, well-written character drama, and a video game second. It's still a video game, but it's definitely, like, the video game aspects of it have taken a huge backseat. Also, the writing, while it is fucking stellar, there are times which I wanted things to not be said that were explained. It's kind of the opposite of the DMC5 problem, where...
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Where a lot of things aren't said, they're shown, like with the movements on characters' faces, and their actions after they have, like, a conversation which doesn't go the right way. This is going to be minor spoiler. Actually, it's going to be huge, insane spoilers for God of War 4. So, like, maybe click ahead if the... Wait, shit, you haven't played it. Can I talk about this?
Nope.
Fuck. Okay. Like, every now and again, I can give specifics on this. The fact that I'm not is just because Kaiser hasn't played it, okay? I can't have an argument here. He's just not letting me. Ree, don't leave. I promise I'm cool. But every now and again, a character will just, like, this is what's happening. You need to do this or not this. Like, this is how your character will grow. It's, like... It has the highest highs of the series by far, but its lows are, like, frighteningly mediocre. That's really all I can say without giving in specifics. Sorry, internet.
Destiny 2. Rootin', tootin', lootin', and shootin'.
In space.
Well, here it is.
Yep.
Here it is.
Like, we save most of this conversation for the next time, for the next other time. But yeah, I believe Destiny 2 should be on there.
Really, like, decade-defining quality.
Yeah. In terms of top 50.
I don't know. I quit early in Destiny 1 when I found out what it was, really. So I'm not entirely sure. Like, maybe Bungie, like, really got it together and made something out of Destiny 2. I don't know. All I know...
Destiny 2 at launch was far worse than Destiny 1.
Destiny, like, I don't think a game should live off of its DLC. I think when you spend $60 for a game and you start to play it, you should have the experience. You should be able to be satisfied with that and feel like you spent the right amount of money.
Then you can. There's always been new stuff that gets added every time for free players.
Well, like when?
Every time a new one of those expansions you're talking about comes out.
So you buy the game at launch.
Yes.
Is it worth $60 then?
Yes.
You feel that way? Like, truly?
Yes.
Like, not just trying to win this argument?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that it, at launch, like, was worthy of a spot on this list?
Destiny 2 are we talking just at launch or not where it is at now, at the end of the decade?
Well, that depends. Because that would depend on the No Man's Sky. Are we letting No Man's Sky on this list for where it is now, or do we take it off for where it was
it's on now?
Okay, so Destiny, where it's at now, is it like worth mentioning in like greatest of 10 years?
Yeah, I would definitely say so, because it's definitely on the forefront of paving the way of the MMO, what you call it, MMO light sort of genre.
I suppose so. I mean, yeah, like I get that like every good experience you have in a video game you want to share with people. The fact that like people push for multiplayer in games is it's the thing. It's what people want. It's just not for me.
That's fair.
So I have to rely on like cursory information about Destiny, and you have put like hundreds of hours into Destiny, so I'm not sure if you're the person to ask.
I know you,
but I'm just gonna take your word for it.
Yeah, from where I stand for it, like if it's what you're looking for to play, yeah, it's got it, 100%.
All right,
but
okay,
moving on to one that we could talk about more about.
Titanfall 2. Trust us, we've done the math.
Titanfall 2 kicks ass.
The funny thing is, like honestly, like I feel like a weird old man. At least in terms of like obviously there's no single player for Titanfall 1, but like in terms of the multiplayer experience, I prefer Titanfall 1 than Titanfall 2.
So
weird old man.
Yeah,
maybe.
Not really. I mean, you can have preferences. Guess what? I have many.
I know. Like I love Titanfall 2. But
yeah.
I just have a softer spot for Titanfall 1.
So yeah, but I'm a single player guy. Like I like games to be like complete, like packaged experiences that I can play and enjoy on my own terms, what I want. Mm-hmm. And so, like Titanfall 2's at launch, fleshed out, interesting, innovative, surprisingly well written, funny at times, really fun, challenging if you want it to be, campaign was fucking awesome and a breath of fresh air in a seriously stagnated genre at the time. That shit gave me fucking hope.
All these things are true.
So, like, that is one of the games right now that I feel definitively deserves to be on this list. And I don't really have much else to say about it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
and I've never played the multiplayer.
It's so fucking great arcade shooter multiplayer. Well, I guess like arcade-ish is probably the best way to say it, because it's not like Quake, but it's still it's all the Twitch shooter sort of elements in terms of fast pace. But moving on.
Yeah, I mean it's
Redemption Collection.
Okay.
I have a plan, John.
I have a plan, John.
I have a plan, John.
I have a plan, John. Tetris Effect.
Did you just laugh? It's fucking funny. I have a plan, Arthur.
I was laughing because it was that green
meme.
screen. I'm pretty sure
they did
it was a reference to the meme. That's why I laughed.
So
does it count to put 1 and 2?
I mean, let's just pick our favorite and debate.
Well, here's the thing. All of Rockstar's open world games, I end up not giving a shit about. I play for probably about 2, 3, 5 hours, and then I just don't care.
You can burn yourself out really hard in those games.
I never finished Red Dead 1. I've never finished a single GTA game.
So Red Dead Redemption 2
So I can't say anything here.
has an incredible story that is propped up by some genuinely dynamite fucking performances. The game is fine. It has some open world tedium, but the setting is like interesting enough to warrant exploration, if that makes any sense. The game actually, its strength is how interesting it becomes because of the limitations of the time period that it's set in.
Mm-hmm.
Like
every good story in that sense should utilize its setting. Like
yeah,
that,
like interesting gameplay mechanics that you have to have because it's the Wild West. Like you can't have too many weapons on you, and so like store a couple on your horse. You have to put like rifles in like a horse holster. So if you take your horse into the woods to go like hunting, like, oh man, I can only take a couple of guns. Better like stow my shotgun on my horse. And then take my horse's reins and lead him in, and then leave him somewhere, and then hunt. Oh shit, there's a grizzly, gotta run back to my horse and grab a shotgun. It's interesting. It's not like Grand Theft Auto, where you have all your weapons all the time, and you just throw a bomb on a car and drive it into a room full of enemies and fucking blow it up. I don't want to use the term smarter, but it's slower, it's more deliberate than Grand Theft Auto, which makes for really interesting gameplay, but at the same time, the world is fucking enormous, and the fact that it's slower and more deliberate and has more, like, character animations also mean that it's very, very, very slow.
But that definitely could be a positive for many people.
Yes, the world is very fleshed out, it's very immersive. Every time you skin an animal, you get down, you get out your knife, and you start cutting it. It takes, like, 5 seconds each time. Like, it really brings you in. And and Arthur Morgan really sells it. His voice acting, even incidental lines, is very good. But there is just, there's one mission on one side of the map and you're all the way on the other. Like, oh, I gotta get to Strawberry from Armadillo for, one mission, and then I gotta come all the way back. Oh, fuck. It's probably the reason that you end up not finishing GTA games.
Honestly, it's not it's partially the open world. It's more that, at least in GTA games, I never give a shit about any of the stories. Except for 4, that was the only one I was partially interested in. But that's a different thing. Next one.
Okay.
Getting high without the devil's lettuce.
Good Christian fun. Kerbal's.
Okay.
Have you ever watched a playthrough of Tetris Effect?
No, but Tetris is, it's the definitive video game. Tetris is fucking eternal. It's like fucking Pac-Man or Doom. Every time a version of Tetris comes in, as long as you don't fuck it up or put microtransactions in it, it's gonna be good, because it's fucking Tetris.
Go and watch a high score or speed run playthrough of Tetris Effect. It is hypnotizing and mesmerizing.
Okay, hold on.
What?
Tetris Effect or Tetris 99?
This is Tetris Effect. Did you what?
I know, but which do you think is better?
Probably Tetris Effect.
Really?
Tetris 99 is a cool gimmick, but fucking go look at Tetris Effect.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll look it up.
You do that. Okay, next then.
Space program. Complex space simulator. Packed full of minions.
I very like Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah, but a Minions joke, really? This episode of Response isn't really chock full of jokes because we're having actual discussions about video games, but oh, come on. Not in these halls, not in my house. You come into my house, are you talking about fucking Minions? I'm sorry, I have no joke. That's just, I'm full of rage and beer.
Remember when it was? Remember when we had the happy years when it would be Oompa Loompa jokes. Now we're in the Minion year.
Oh yeah,
year jokes.
Yeah, Kerbals basically are Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, but now they're Minions. Boston.
Oompa Loompa Doompa Dee Doo. I have another riddle for you. What do you get when you put too much fuel on a rocket? I don't know. Da-do-ba-dee-doo.
Honestly, in terms of like gaming achievements, up there in terms of my greatest ever achievements is actually landing on the.
Yeah, the amount of shit
It's fucking hard
that is possible in Kerbal Space Program is kind of amazing. Like,
yeah,
it is.
that reminds me.
It's a technical achievement, the way it is now.
Oh, there's so much fucking shit in that game.
Like it's one of those games. Like most video games, you feel like once you learn the mechanics, you can do it. Like every game is accessible. But Kerbal Space Program is one of the only games that I truly feel like I wouldn't get, even if I tried.
It's honestly not that bad. It's just you play and you learn.
Okay, I mean, I guess I still have that feeling because I've never really tried, because it feels like the bar of entry is like just below actual fucking rocket science.
It's really not that bad. You learn eventually. You might have to look up a few things, but yeah, just start just slapping rockets on things, and stuff will start making sense eventually. That's how it worked for me.
I saw a YouTube video of a dude who did like calculations where he put a ramp on the moon and then strapped a rocket to a car and then jumped the car off of a ramp and landed on Earth. And I went, you know what? I think this game is going to be people on YouTube for me, and that's about it. That's
fair.
Fucking nonsense. That's fucking crazy. Crazy, sir.
Good God. All right. Next up.
Divinity Original Sin 2. Can I talk to the dog?
Yes.
We're still going.
Source of quality RPG fun. It's funny because the source is a different type of magic that you can use in the game. It's like a kind of like mana, if you want to think about it that way, but it's not. So
This is more than 7 words.
The sources. I'm making a joke about source in this one.
Oh, okay. Should have saved that for a Half-Life game, but okay.
So I'm not through with Divinity Original Sin 2 yet.
Divinity Original Sin 2 is a fucking amazing game that I hate.
I know you have your problems with it.
It's probably the best game I've ever played that I despise.
Ian and I, Kaiser cracking it. Fuck. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'll try. I think it was one of the only games that you quit. We were playing it together and it just didn't really work out. And now I'm playing it by myself and it's like fucking joyous.
Yeah, I fucking straight quit because the enemy AI in that game is infuriating. I don't want to get into it again. Maybe we'll find a time to talk about this more.
The way I've heard people talk about it, it's like a game that's as good as your build is, but I've never really had that problem.
Nothing to do with that, actually. That's the issue. It's not to do with your build. It's to do with how the enemy AI interacts with your build. Because there's certain skills in the game that if you take, are completely worthless due to the AI and how it functions. So much so that you, even if depending on your certain setup, it can actually ruin a run. It's nice that you can there's a free respec at any given point, but I didn't want to do it anymore. God, that was just painful.
Yeah. It's so weird that I hear people having these discussions about Divinity, and I'm like, it feels like they're playing a different game because I've never played the game and not loved every second of it.
Oh, there's half of my skills were just like, no, they're useless, 100% useless, because the AI just cheats. Moving on.
Bloodborne, a Dark Souls adult steampunk goths and bloodcore.
Dark Souls. Adult bloodcore goths. No.
Blood Souls, Bloodborne, Dark Souls steampunk bloodcore goths.
Dark Souls adult bloodcore steampunk goths.
Adult core.
So this Dark Souls Bloodborne.
Strange attempt at humor aside,
Bloodborne gothson.
Bloodborne is probably my vote for actual best game of this decade.
Ooh, I about that one hard.
Love it.
I love Bloodborne. I will say I prefer Dark Souls 1, but that's because it's half nostalgia, half I think it's a better game. It's in certain aspects.
For me, I'm lucky that Bloodborne had my preferred mechanic and also my preferred aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because like in Dark Souls 1, I was a big poise boy with a broadsword and a big shield, and I played through it, I liked it, and it was a really great build, and I had fun the whole time. And in Bloodborne, I was a, flippy dippy dodge boy because you have to be. And like it just clicked, and I loved it. It's like I prefer dodging rather to parrying or blocking in almost all action games. And also, spooky monster shit is like my favorite aesthetic of all time. I actually mention it in a video I'm making. I actually am trying to make a video. It'll be out soonish, whenever it's done. But I mention like my love of this aesthetic. Like spooky monster shit is like the best shit ever for me. Do you know how hard
Crafting is the best horror?
Yeah, well, I guess. Like I like monster.
Okay.
I guess I like Dracula, Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster. I like both. Like I like Mary Shelley's rendition of Frankenstein, the original, the true, and I also like Boris Karloff Frankenstein. I think he's fucking amazing. But this is how fucking deep and hard I was in when NBC, I believe it was, announced their Dark Universe, like going back. And
NBC
is it NBC? It was NBC, right?
Universal.
Universal, right? I'm drunk. Announced their.
I'm with you so hard on this. I'm so depressed.
I was fucking in. I was all in.
I was so in.
Like I still consider Bride of Frankenstein like even old like holds up good movie. I don't know. I was in hard. And then the Mummy came out, and I was like, what are you doing? No.
Yeah.
Well, like, even Dracula Untold, they had Charles Dance. They had him. He was in the movie, and he didn't play Dracula. What the fuck is the matter with you?
Dracula Untold's not a good movie, but god damn it, it's fun, though. Have you seen it?
I have. I meant, yeah.
He forms a bat fist in the sky and then punches an army in the face.
I'm aware.
With a bat fist.
I am aware of its problems, yes.
Oh, you mean fucking the best?
Yes, I mean golden shining moments of cinema that will live on forever. Bat Fist is immortal. We'll be at the Oscars. The 2030 Oscars. Ricky Gervais will be hosting. And he'll be like, oh yeah, Fast and Furious 26 is good and all, but do you guys remember Bat Fist?
Two most Oscar-stum movies of all time. Dracula Untold and Men in Black 2.
You're doing that thing again. That thing I don't like. You're talking about bad movies like they're good.
Is an extremely watchable and preferable movie.
No, it's just not. It's
What's this? There's a video we have to watch here. What happened to it?
Great Odyssey.
Did we actually talk about Bloodborne?
Strong Greek waifu.
Yeah.
Is that Italian?
I don't know.
That's gonna get a King of the Hill.
Actually, we didn't say too much about Bloodborne. Besides, it's fucking amazing.
I mean, it's good. Play it. Like, I almost feel like I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it. It's fucking godly.
It is really fucking good. I guess the only complaint I can level about Bloodborne is that the healing system is only consumables, which if you're end up being stuck at a certain location can end up being really annoying. That's about it.
Okay, yeah. In terms of like how to get health back out of combat, but the fact that you can, if you get hit, if you get a couple of strikes in, you can regain some of the health that you lost.
Oh yeah, that's great.
It's good shit. It's that kind of push forward Doom 2016 mentality.
Yeah. Well, it's less push forward combat, more,
but float like a butterfly, sting like a bee combat.
Yeah. But either way, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've heard it's good, but at the same time, I don't care anymore.
It's technically, like, in terms of, like, animations, mechanics, the things that you can do and interact in the environment, it's a downgrade from even, like, Assassin's Creed Unity. And they replaced that with RPG mechanics, but because it's not a full-fledged RPG, it's an Assassin's Creed game, it's basically half. It's half Assassin's Creed, half Witcher 3, and the full experience of neither.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The best I probably can say about it is it's probably pretty serviceable for what it is.
Well, yeah, but Polygon likes it because you can have ladies have sex with ladies, so it's on this list. Like, we're not even going to get into the, like, representation argument, but let's be honest that the fact that there are lesbians in it means Polygon will want to put it on this list. That we can agree on?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Dang it, Bobby, I've got a big, strong Greek waifu.
Lawrence, WarioWare Therapy Hour.
Portal 2. Now you're
I'm sorry, what was that? Is that a mobile game?
No, that didn't look mobile to me.
Dang it, Bobby,
It looked like 3 screens.
Lawrence.
That might actually be a mobile game. Yeah. I have no idea, though.
It looks like you're putting together a puzzle, reading some dialogue, and then there's a comic book style cutscene.
It looks like it's a puzzle game, though. Yeah, it's some kind of puzzle game with a story. No idea.
Number 29, top 50 games of the decade. Mobile game. We had a genuine discussion about Destiny 2. What do you think I'm going to say about this?
I have no idea. I can't say anything because I haven't played it. Fuck if I know, dude. I'm more reserved than you. If I don't know what it is, I'm not going to comment on it.
It's a mobile game.
We don't know if it's a mobile game. I'm making that assumption with the little triangle on the top right.
I mean, it's either that or a DS game.
It's not a DS game. I can tell you that by looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pass it by. I'm gonna let it be.
I mean, and if it's a puzzle game, even if it's good, there are so many other puzzle games like of this genre that came out this decade that are fucking awesome.
Well, maybe Austin. Maybe it's the best one ever. Maybe it's the best puzzle game of this decade.
I can comfortably say that it's not. I forget what it's called, but there's a game where you play as an FBI agent that just does puzzles, and he what is it called?
Agent Puzzler?
Mr. Agent Puzzle or something? Yeah, that game's really, really fun.
I've heard it's pretty good.
It's a lot of fun.
WarioWare Therapy Hour.
Professor Layton also.
Now you're thinking with sequels.
Doom.
Portal 2 is pretty good.
I think Portal 1 is better because it's shorter, if that makes any sense.
Portal 1 is a better experience package.
Yeah.
It's like it's short and sweet. Portal 2 is very good, but at the end of it you can kind of feel like they kind of started struggling in terms of figuring out
it overstays its welcome. I mean, it's held up by like witty writing and surprisingly good voice acting by Stephen Merchant. Mm-hmm. It's long though. It feels.
It didn't drag for me. That's all I can say. But yeah, it's a bit long on the longer end, but it's not really that long. I don't know. I never had the issue. But if someone came to me and told me that, like, yeah, Portal 2 felt long, I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can see. But it's still a great game.
Okay.
Actually, quick. When did Portal 1 come out?
I would guess 2011?
Yeah, 2007. All right.
Oh, 7. Wow.
Yeah, it's old.
Oh, that's right. We have to talk about the fact that like almost like 9 years went by without Valve actually making any video games.
Well, they basically didn't make Portal.
That's true. Portal was like some lady's like proof of concept labor of love.
it was, if I remember correctly, it was a like around sort of a college project that then Valve approached them and like, hey, you want to make this into a more fullish game, and you can put it under the Half-Life IP, kind of. They're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. All I remember was it was some ladies. That's really all I remember about the development of Portal.
Next one.
Yeah.
2016. Fracking hell was a bad idea.
Shoot! 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 Shoot at the devil! Dishonored.
Okay, yeah, that was cringy as fuck, but his Motley Crue impression, surprisingly not bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the shoot.
I mean, what can you really say about Doom 2016?
Besides it's probably one of the best first-person shooters of the decade.
I mean, it's like Titanfall 2 and Doom 2016 are in like hot contention for like the best of the best.
It's so weird that like when before Doom came out, I was one of the ones that was convinced that it was just gonna be pretty shitty. I thought it was gonna be like I was gonna play it, but like I was like, I bargain bin it when it's shitty.
See, I have a super huge soft spot for like the gunplay in almost anything id Software makes. I played and remember favorably Rage 1.
Oh yeah, me too. Rage 1 is very entertaining.
Rage 2 is probably my biggest disappointment, surprisingly. Because the gunplay is joyous. It's super fun, there's a ton of shit to do, all the weapons feel great, they do just the right amount of damage, they're chunky, feedback is good, you're usually killing human enemies, and they respond to bullets in the right way. It's good. But then there's Bethesda stuff. It's like 40 minutes of wandering around an empty world, and like 3-minute patches of glorious violence. And I just stopped playing and never went back to it, and it's such a shame.
I probably will get to playing it at some point. I'll give my impressions on that.
Yeah,
I'll probably be more okay with it.
It's like every now and again you'll see on your map like a point of interest that you know is like a gun, like a new gun or like a suit power up for combat, and they feel like fucking oases in the desert. Like, oh, thank God. Because you know you're going to get there, you're going to get the thing, it's going to teach you how to use it, and then you're going to walk out and you're going to get attacked. So they're like, here, now play with your new toy. They're the best part of the game. And they are so tragically few and far between.
I'm curious to see how I feel about it. But we'll see. We'll get to it. Ooh, this is going to be a good one.
Take your daughter to work day.
The Outer Wilds.
So, what year did Dishonored 1 come out in?
Yeah, because I actually have a lot to say about Dishonored 2.
Because Dishonored 1, great. Dishonored 2, I gave up on.
Oh, Dishonored. Okay, yeah, 2012. I like the issue here is it's polygon. And if it's a game in a line of games, even if the first one is better, if there's anyone with something 2 on it, Polygon's put it on there because they subscribe to the theory of it's a sequel. It's got to be better.
Oh, really? I don't know that about them. I'm not.
Well, I'm not saying Polygon, but I'm saying in terms of, because the reason they made this video is it's just a crowd pleaser. It's like, oh yeah, you watch this video, find the game that you like a lot in it.
That's true. I mean, the only people who are really doing any kind of analysis in these games, fucking us. Congratulations, Internet. We're the best you've got.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Start hoarding food now. It's only going to get worse from here.
But, man, okay. Dishonored 2.
Yeah.
Where to start? Dishonored 1 is I almost want to say perfectly crafted experience of a first-person shooter, a first-person stealth game, which is... Honestly, back when Dishonored 1 came out, that was actually kind of a harken back to a genre that was, I'm not going to say dead, because no genre is ever actually dead, but one that was just like not mainstream much at all.
Okay.
Too much?
So I have a little bit more experience in this regard than you do. I would say that, yeah, it feels very finely crafted. I won't say it's like super incredible, because a lot of like the really good aspects of it were lifted straight out of Thief 2: The Dark Project, which is not like a bad thing, but it's like I have to compare it to a game that's like equally as good or just a little bit better. So I can't say it's like super, like I can't say it's like original and finely crafted in that way. Actually, like it's such an homage to Thief that do you remember in Dishonored 1 when you get like, God, what was it, like trapped or cornered and you lose some of your stuff in that like plagued area with the canals, and you first are trying, like you're trying to sneak by like the shadow dudes that can teleport as well for the first time?
Yeah.
And one dude is training another dude, and he's talking to him about like, you know, the shadows are our friends, like stick to like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually a paragraph ripped straight from a tutorial in Thief. It's word for word that.
Yeah, so it's pretty clear with their inspirations.
Yeah. It's like that's that obvious homage because it's the same dialogue. It's a reference more than an homage, I suppose. So, like, I like Dishonored immensely because it's basically Thief, and Thief 4 was so terrible, but it's okay because we had Dishonored.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dishonored I like because...
sorry, I was just one more thing.
Yeah.
Dishonored feels a tiny bit less complex because a lot of problems that like should be solved with like gadgets or quick thinking or I suppose, well, generally a well-placed arrow can be solved with superpowers. So in that way, it's much more fast-paced. It's a little bit more action-y. But we're talking about a game that is like complex at a snail's pace versus a game that's complex at a turtle's pace. Like, yes, Dishonored is less fleshed out, or not less fleshed out, but it's less deliberate, but only by a tiny bit. If that makes any sense.
I guess so. I've never played
it's
the Thieves game, so I can't really say.
It's the difference between like scouting out a location to find a like and like maybe I could like the guards are over here. Okay, so I'll shoot a grapple arrow onto here while the guard is on his patrol, and I'll climb up here and okay, I'm on the roof. Whew, okay, that went well. Versus okay, there's a guard. Fuck, teleport up to the roof, and then look around for what you can work with on the roof. Like.
No, I get you. It's a different system.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I like about Dishonored 1 is that it definitely harkens back to Thief. It's just an entire area with its own sort of just system going around, and you just can kind of look at it and figure it out and like get at it from any real direction you want to do, as well as also having just a very good story, also art direction. Same with Half-Life 2, and I love him.
Yeah, yeah.
I forget his name.
Yeah, yep. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Even though like the lore and story that's just completely separate from the story itself, the world of Dishonored is very, very well fleshed out, and just in terms of ambient dialogue, even it's really quite good. And then Dishonored 2 came, and it didn't expand on anything, and just kind of existed.
It didn't. It felt like a game that didn't feel the need to be more than.
I haven't looked into it. I haven't looked into it because I've kind of forgot to, because Arcane Studios, I think they have at least, I think they have three separate studios now technically for Arcane.
Yeah, because there's a Arcane French division that's working on that game about time travel.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a time loop sort of thing. I'm interested to see how.
I would like to have seen more of that. Yeah, sorry, I talked over you.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't think we've seen gameplay yet. I think we've only seen that trailer. But if I remember correctly, and I forgot to look it up, but I'm pretty sure Dishonored 2 was made by not their like head team that made Dishonored 1. So a lot of Dishonored 2 just feels very derivative of the first game, as well as just not as inspired, and that's what it is. There's a lot more levels that are straightforward, a lot more boring design. The story is just a lot more lackluster. It's just it's still fun to play. It's more Dishonored, but it's just not as good.
This is a kind of like just me kind of thing, because I don't have a definitive, objective yes or no on whether or not this is true. But it really feels to me that the game would have been way better if they had just Corvo or Emily picked one.
Honestly, what they probably should have picked Emily and just made the storyline around it. Honestly, one of the biggest weaknesses for Dishonored 2 was that they had to craft the storyline so that they could write dialogue for it working for either Corvo or Emily. And so you ended up having a very vague and generic story that couldn't really play to the strengths or emotional circumstances that would have come with either character.
Yeah, I was thinking, that's really true. I was thinking more about gameplay, because Emily has like fucking tentacle powers, but they have to function identically to Corvo's powers. Technically, you have to be able to do the same things in the same way. You have to be able to get to the same points and like complete objectives in more or less the same way, rather than it just going like way off of left field and being super weird.
I don't mean to be a dick, but you're wrong on that fact. Unfortunately, they have very different powers. That function. They sometimes do. The end result is the same thing, but they function entirely differently. Particularly with the grapple teleport, is very different than the blink teleport. I play Dishonored 2 a lot.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
But either way, like as well as.
I'm not going to say that they're functionally identical, but they are way too similar.
Yeah. Although the thing about it, honestly, is that they could have made the power sets separate and different, because the way they build the environments in for the Dishonored games are varied enough that the powers could have functioned differently, and you could have solved puzzles. But yeah, you're right. They made them a bit similar in certain tastes, just out of more what feels like laziness or uninspiredness. I don't want to say definitively either one to be mean, but they really should have picked one, expanded power sets, and made the story revolving around them.
Yeah. Because the idea of Emily is cool. Like tentacle freak, like Darkness style.
Yeah. It also allows you to have to go through the same moral dilemma that Corvo has in the first game in terms of killing, not killing. But then particularly if you play as Corvo again, the game just feels so flat, because it's just Corvo's just like, all right, another day in the life of me.
Yeah.
And then the issue is, then you play the game as Emily, and even then you're just like, okay. All the environments have to be.
You go through another day in the life of Corvo, but you're someone else.
Yeah, the game just doesn't play to the strengths of either character, and so you just left this weird middle ground.
Which is weird, because there is a DLC where you play as someone completely different.
I really do want to play Death of Outsider. I hear that one pretty good.
Who knows? Maybe those problems were fixed, but I honestly don't have the fucking balls to play through Dishonored 2 again to find out.
Well, it's a standalone DLC.
Okay, then maybe I just don't have the balls to buy it again.
But backing up on that, in terms of gameplay, it's great. Dishonored 2 is great. It's just in terms of map design, it suffers as well. But in terms of expanding upon what functionality exists within, it's great. Basically, if you ported the maps and story from Dishonored 1 into Dishonored 2 and gave like the powers and functionalities of Dishonored 2 into Dishonored 1, yeah, that would make it a better game. It's just that Dishonored 2 lacks the things that Dishonored 1 has, while Dishonored 2 only expands upon the power set slightly.
Dishonored 2
and gameplay slightly
is a fucking chocolate cake, or Dishonored 1 is a chocolate cake. Dishonored 2 is a chocolate cake, but you taste it and you're like, I don't think there's as much chocolate in this as last time. It kind of feels like it has a little less, it feels a bit more bland. Not as much flavor here. You gonna finish it? Yeah, I mean, it's still cake.
Yeah, pretty much. It's still a fucking great game, but it's just like, eh. All right, next one here.
Figure out The Outer Wilds. Figure out life's meaning in 22 minutes or less.
No or less.
Wait. The Outer Wilds. Figure out life's meaning in 22 minutes. Can I take it again? The Outer Wilds. Figure out life's meaning in 22 minutes.
Towerfall.
So I haven't played Outer Wilds.
Play it. It is probably one of the funnest games I've played of this decade.
I will, when it comes to PC Game Pass, I will play Outer Wilds. It is not available on the PC Game Pass yet. I've been waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, I played it on the Xbox One for a little bit. Yeah,
why is it not on PC? Is it an Epic Store thing?
It might be an Epic Store thing, unfortunately.
Oh God,
I know. But what I can say about the Outer Wilds is that it's extremely charming, has a great aesthetic, and also is. Let's see how to say this. Because do you know anything about the game? I can give you a brief synopsis. I think I've told you before. For posterity's sake, I'll explain it real quick.
This is me attempting to explain a game that I have not played in layman's terms, so forgive me. But from what I can tell, it's similar to No Man's Sky. But No Man's Sky is a very, very large swimming pool that's 3 feet deep. And Outer Wilds is a small swimming pool that is infinitely deep.
Yeah, basically, it's the basic way to sum up. Is basically everything that No Man's Sky is. It's the opposite. Yeah. It's one solar system that's 100% curated. There's no RNG and there's no RNG generation in this game. Everything's the same every single time. The whole point of it is that you're a little space guy with your little wooden ship. You fly around to a bunch of different planets and other things and discover and just find out what's going on in this solar system that you find yourself in. And then there's a bit of a time loop aspect to it that keeps resetting the day until you kind of figure it out. And you just keep going around finding more notes, finding out more lore about what's going on, what existed in this solar system before your race was here.
Majora's spaceship. I like it.
And it's just fucking divine. It's so fun. Yeah, but it's the first few loops are I love because you have no idea what's going on or why you're looping until at one point you finally see it and you're like, oh no.
That's cool.
The game's a lot of fun.
I think that this decade has taught us that just because your game is big doesn't mean it's good. Like a small game that's chock full of shit to do is like a better, tighter experience than a huge game that just you take a while to get to the things that are interesting.
The slight tangent to that is basically all you have to do is you don't have to look much farther than Fallout 4 and dissect Fallout 4 in terms of what its design philosophy was. And it was radiant RNG missions. Every faction in the game has radiant RNG missions. Just so they can pad out their numbers and give the player more time to go and explore the world and do things.
Infinite missions.
But the issue ended up being that they're boring and pointless and added nothing to the world. In fact, they almost took away because instead of feeling like a living, breathing world, it just felt like an infinite checklist of game things to do.
Like, how does this settlement need my help? I was just here. We know these people. There are turrets there.
Yeah, well, it gets even worse too. Particularly with the Minutemen, is that like you build up this army, huge air quotes on that, because they never do anything and you can't appoint them to do anything. It's always your job. It doesn't feel like a living, breathing world, and that whole philosophy was very indicative of a few years back of game design. It's definitely now that like some of the bigger companies you can kind of feel are starting to get the message, and they're trying to like shift more towards away from that, at least the radiant game design, or at least making it better.
Yes, a Bethesda problem is eventually you become the head of something, and then that's the end of the quest when it should technically be the beginning of something interesting. Like, you're the head of the Minutemen. Great, what does that mean? Technically, nothing.
Technically nothing, because I'm still going to put my issues on you.
You're the listener of the Dark Brotherhood. What does that mean? Well, it means that every now and again we'll pay you. Great. You're the head of the Fighters Guild. What does that mean? Well, every now and a bit we'll pay you. That was my orc impression.
All right. Well, do you mind if we call it here? I got to sleep, unfortunately.
Oh wow, really? There's going to be a part 2 of this. We got halfway through.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to? All right. Let's just do a little. So thank you everybody for watching this. I'd like to actually hear some feedback on this one, because this was a lot of talking about video games. There wasn't. Did we do a lot of comedy? I don't even remember if we told a lot of jokes, but this was hard video game talk. Okay.
I want to see how long you could carry this.
I wanted to see if you'd help me. I'm dying here.
I'll be curious to see how people think about this. But yeah, this was more of a just you know what, we've been away for so long. It's just let's stop thinking about how to do it. Yeah. Just put out a shit video.
Yeah.
But in terms of conversation,
a shit video about a shit video. This is a cascade failure.
Oh yeah. Prepare for unforeseen consequence.
What would be the unforeseen consequence? A fucking strike for Polygon? Guess what? I don't give a fuck. Nobody pays me.
Alright, well, I guess in terms of updates for at least your channel, you have a video coming, which I'm extremely interested to see how it is.
Oh yeah, I'm extremely interested to see if I don't fuck it up too. Yeah. So
honestly, once that comes out, I might want to I want to talk with you about what we can possibly do together in terms of a video of that kind for other such things. Because I feel like structured content like that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like having projects to do. Like, this is a hobby, but it's a fun one. I like it. I like doing it.
Yeah.
I also really like that there are people who are interested in what we have to say. Just either to agree with it or to laugh at it hilariously because it's wrong. Yeah. I hope to see you guys again, Scrumbumbulus and the like. I know we really didn't do one when we should have. It took us a month. I made 2 rent payments since we did the last DMC episode, so there's that.
But we're back now.
I hope you can forgive us.
For an undisclosed period of time.
Yeah, we're back until we aren't. Nah. We've made good steps in the right direction. I'm pretty sure this audio is good, so if this works out, we can do them online and just crank these fucking out. Well, I'd like them to be good. If they start being shitty, please let us know. Unless they're shitty on purpose, in which case, that was me.
Everything's changed. That's how it starts. The fever, the rage, the feeling of powerlessness. That turns good men cruel